Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
Konnichiwa, Nelson.
Bit of Japanese for you there.
For no particular reason.
Young listeners. Yeah,
because as
yeah.
people would know, we've been here every week, and this is just another week.
We haven't missed a day. If we were away though, I imagine my cat would have just fucking hated it. He would be grumpy and angry that he hasn't had pets for all. Oh my god. Okay, so because he's been so grumpy, I've now had to put him on my lap for this session, which has never happened before. And he's such a big cat. He moves around and he cannot sit on my lap. He's just too fat. He's a chunker.
It's not so much a cat that you have as some kind of Shetland pony.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he just likes to meow. Since we've been back, he just likes to meow a lot. Just let you know that he's there. And you did abandon him, and don't ever forget it, you piece of shit, is kind of the message that I get from it.
Yep.
So you might get some meows during this.
But it's good to know that you can never take a holiday ever now. At least for the next time. Let's be realistic. 10 years?
Yeah. In 10 years, I might be able to. He might allow a weekend trip away.
Well, it's not so much that he will allow.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to say the ultimate destiny of a cat. But
there's two situations. He either dies, rest in peace, Bandit, or he's so senile he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. That's also good. I want to put it out there. We will take advantage of a senile cat.
I'll do it. In fact, I've done it before, Cam, but I don't want to talk about it. But I have taken advantage of a senile cat. All right, Cam, but I think we should get into it. This first Reddit on Reddit is by FutureFold6085, and he was in the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to offer my seat to a pregnant woman and asking an old lady to F off?
Doesn't look good so far, but go on.
Not great. I didn't say that outright, but I just couldn't think of a better way to phrase it. It's just my tone had given off a vibe that was asking her to F off. I, 18 male, was traveling on a train.
Young and fit, yep.
Young and fit. There was hardly space for anyone to sit. A few stations later, when a couple of people had dropped off, there was breathing space, but there were no vacant seats left anyway. A pregnant woman entered the compartment and was apparently looking for a seat. Mine was the one which was immediately visible when she entered, and the people who had adjacent seats next to me were much older. I wasn't sure whether I should offer mine or not. I was just thinking through it when an old woman who was seated a little ahead asked her to take mine. She told the woman, as in, take his seat there. There's enough space for you to sit. I didn't like that she was directly asking the woman to walk over and claim my seat, and I protested. I told her, hey, you can't just tell someone else to claim my seat. It's mine. I get to decide. She asked me whether I couldn't see that she was pregnant and that as a young man, I had the ability to stand. Everyone was eyeing me as if I had said something wrong. I got pissed off. I wasn't having that nonsense. I told her that I am not doing it, and she began to accuse me of not having respect for elders, etc. A few others asked me to give up mine too, but I didn't listen. I told the old woman that she has to mind her own business, to not interfere in my affairs, and that I have every right to remain there. She looked extremely cross, and I probably came out with a bad impression on everyone, but I didn't like her attitude. Am I the asshole?
Well, I hate to make it seem so cut and dry, Nelson.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I will say, and I think that Reddit will say, that yes, this person is the asshole.
Huge asshole. This is what I don't get. The person's like, The pregnant lady came on.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure whether I should offer mine or not. And I was just thinking it through.
Yeah.
What is there to think about? What are you like? Pregnant lady coming on. Let me just toss up the pros and cons. I'll write a list.
Yeah.
And work out whether it's a good idea to give up my seat.
Depends on this person had said when she walked on, my seat was the first one that was visible.
Yeah.
Now, in Australia, and I'm going to say with a fair amount of certainty, Japan, when you first get on a train, there are seats put aside called priority seating right near the door.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're in those seats, you have to get up if the pregnant or elderly person comes in.
Yeah.
The point is, they're really close to the door, so they don't have to walk far. And it says you are obligated to give up your seat to someone that needs it more if that occurs.
I thought that was standard everywhere.
I thought so too. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say this train didn't have priority seating.
Yeah.
And it was just a seat nearest the door.
Oh, maybe. Oh, Canberra, I've just realized that's maybe what he was tossing up. He's like, if I give up my seat now, the government will never learn to implement priority seating. So really, I'm adding to the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Of not having priority seating.
Nelson, do me a favor and read their username for me one more time.
Future fold.
Thinking about the future.
Okay, progressive. That's what this person is. Yeah.
Now, I was half expecting a twist here because it was so clear.
Yeah.
To be like...
There is a twist. There is a twist, Cam, but I haven't got to it yet.
Okay. I thought everyone was going to be saying, you need to get up, you need to get up. And I was like, I don't want to move for this pregnant woman. And then they were going to say, so anyway, I moved back into my wheelchair or something like that. You're like, oh, that's why they were sitting there.
Yeah.
But so far, that twist has not occurred.
No, this is my twist. It's a different twist. There's no twist to the actual story itself because that guy's just an asshole. I'm like, of course you should give up your seat.
Yes.
I would like to give you everybody a little story. Oh my God, sorry, cat scared me. A little story that I was told from a pregnant woman once that might just not have you hesitate should you be in this situation before. But this woman was pregnant and she had to walk all day. I think her car broke down or something like that. And she had to walk to the station and she was really heavily pregnant, like 7 months, 8 months pregnant, something like that. And she got onto the train and nobody even acknowledged her or got up off their seat. And we, like you said, we have the priority seating and not anyone even budged a bit. And she just started crying because she's like, I'm full of all these emotions. Yeah. And it's just a horrible experience. I always think about that now. Yeah. I'm like, obviously just give up your seat for especially a pregnant woman, but also,
Yeah, you're literally carrying a baby.
Yeah.
In you. You're sore, your hormones are crazy, you don't feel well. It's been months of this.
Yeah.
Let them sit down.
Oh my God.
All they want to do is sit down, ever.
Yeah.
They're pregnant, for God's sakes.
Oh, they're full for getting pregnant though, am I right, Kimber? Oh, yeah. I don't think so. I love my comfy chair. Anyway, this is the little twist I want to say. So I went to the comments straight away, as you do, and I expected everybody to just be blasting them, saying, "Oh, you're the asshole." But the very first comment, which is the most upvoted comment, has the letters ESH, which stands for "Everybody sucks here." So sometimes someone will write "Am I the asshole?" post, and people might agree that everybody in the scenario is an asshole.
Yep. So
this person, who is named, didn't that. It's not English. Sorry. My cat. Oh God, this is just not a good setup. Okay. They said everyone sucks here except for the pregnant woman. The old woman shouldn't have offered anyone else's seat to the pregnant lady, but you showed a very prominent lack of empathy towards someone in a physically demanding state who did nothing wrong. Everyday gestures of kindness improve happiness for the givers and takers. You're the asshole, not because you were obligated to offer, but because of the way you handled the situation. Here's the thing. That's the most upvoted comment. So let's just clarify something. He is the asshole because he was obligated to offer his seat, not just because of how he handled the situation.
Yeah.
But also, the old woman is perfectly right, and I would encourage anybody else to do this.
Yeah.
If a pregnant lady gets on, somebody's sitting down, generally younger person because they are more fit and able, and they're not getting up, tell them to get the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, there is no that is not a rude thing to do. That's like this person is oblivious to the situation. I need to let them know that they need to get up.
Can I tell you my reading of this situation?
Yeah.
I don't quite believe the phrasing this person has said where the old woman said, take his seat.
Yeah.
I think that she's probably suggested to try and like spur him on to be like, oh, well, you know, there are a couple of seats around where he's sitting.
Yeah.
To try and be like, yes, do you understand what I'm implying here?
Yes.
Like, that's more what I think probably happened is she was probably trying to, like, you know, poke him to be like, hey, you know, where you're sitting, she could sit, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Bandit being left. How dare you? I've been betrayed more than you could ever imagine.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Like a Bandit situation.
Yeah,
probably like just sit on the lap.
I can take it. Sit on my lap. Yeah, that's true. At least offer a lap, guys. Come on, that's the lesson here. If you're like, no, I really want this seat, offer a lap.
Do you have the same dilemma I have with priority seating? Sometimes a pregnant woman, cut and dry, stand up.
Yeah.
You also meant to stand up for elderly people.
Yeah.
If I'm in a priority seating, there is an age group that will get on the train where I'm like, are they old enough?
I know.
For me to offer my seat, or will I really offend this person?
That's the thing.
If they've got any kind of walking implement, frame, stick, whatever, easy. But somewhere around 70.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's like
I get really confused around that bracket, maybe even 10 years either side, how old they are.
I think so. Well, my gauge is like if they've got grey hair, if they've got a full set of grey hair, which it could vary from like honestly 50.
Yeah.
Then I feel awkward, like I'm doing the wrong thing.
My dad is in his mid-60s.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would want someone.
He would be offended. He would be so offended.
But I know my dad. I recognize him. I see him all the time, so I would know that. But if someone his equivalent age got on that looked like him, I'd that's in that group where it'd be like, do I
kind of gauged it by. I mean, whenever I sit in one of those priority seating things, you know, because it's like normally the last seats to go ish. And you're like, okay, I've got to be on my game for anybody that comes through.
Yeah, you're never comfortable.
When I'm never comfortable. I wish I hadn't have sat down is basically how I feel. But there might be like, that old person come on. And then I'm kind of like primed to get up, I think. And I kind of stare them down. Yeah. Not if they're staring at me. It's not a stare off. But I'm just kind of looking at them. And if they look at me and give like even the slight indication that I might want to sit down, I'm up already at my gaze.
I start shuffling in my seat as if I'm adjusting.
And
then if they're like, I'm like, I was just getting up. That's what I was doing. But if they don't, if they just kind of look straight past me, it's like, just getting comfortable. Just shuffle that around a bit.
Yeah, smart. That's good. Here's the other thing, Cambo. Not all you can't see all disabilities, so we could just pull the disability card. And so he's like, hey, get off that seat for this pregnant lady and old man. I'm like, well, maybe I've got something that you can't see.
Yeah.
You don't have to say any more than that because otherwise that's prying. So, I mean, obviously you'll go to hell, but I'm already going there anyway.
Yeah, right. So so you're saying what we should do is take advantage of people's empathy for those differently abled and say, I deserve this seat even though I am young and physically capable of standing. I think you and Future Fall will get on just fine.
I think we're on the same wavelength. All right, Camber, I think we should move on into Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit was originally by Hulkamania, but it was cross-posted to us by Just Judging Reddit. And Just Judging Reddit is Hallie Schliffer. And Hallie, just by the way, has recently got married. Hey, congratulations, Hallie!
Congrats. A bit annoyed you got married before me, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
No, congratulations. That's great.
I know Camber because I was there DJing her wedding.
Yeah, as you promised as well. And you would never welch on a promise.
I would never welch on a promise.
Yeah.
It was weird that they didn't introduce the bride as Hallie. I could have been at the wrong wedding, but that seems unlikely. So
yes,
I was definitely there.
Also, I need to shout out that Hallie Scheffler, I believe her last name is, by the way.
No, that's what I said.
Was very, very kind and sent me a happy birthday email yesterday.
Oh.
Even timed it correctly. Said happy birthday, Camber. My birthday was yesterday, by the way. Yeah. My calendar event specifically said email at night to try and catch you on the same day. Hope you have a great day. I just want to let you know this arrived at 9 a.m. on my birthday. So you nailed it.
Perfect timing.
Could have been earlier, actually. I was up since 6, Hallie. So. No, thank you. That's very nice.
On midnight, really, is when you want it. The very first person. Anywho, this post is, what are you in the 1% of?
Oh, okay. Well, I do know that I think I am in the 1% of like being able to see movies.
Oh,
and I never really thought about this because obviously I watch and see a lot of movies. A lot of them early as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about it until I was having a conversation at my work, and we're talking about some random movie. I don't remember what the movie was. Do you mean
in the cinemas?
Yeah, sorry, at the cinemas.
Okay, cool.
Not watching movies in total. I mean, going to the cinemas to see new movies.
Yeah, okay.
We were talking about some kind of movie, and someone said, "Oh wait, Cam, have you seen that?" It wasn't out yet, by the way. I said, "Oh yeah, I have."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, is it good?" I was like, "Nah, I wouldn't worry about it." Like the fact that I not only had seen the movie in cinemas that they were talking about, I also like didn't even like it, Nelson. I didn't even enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Made me go, I'm pretty privileged when it comes to that, you know.
Right, yeah.
Like, and they asked with the certainty being like, I'm going to assume you've probably seen it. Like they asked being like, you've probably already seen it. So I would just check.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's pretty lucky. You should, though. I think you should caveat all recommendations with the fact that your most favorite movie is Signs.
Well, actually,
because some people might be like, this guy knows what he's talking about. What Signs? I don't think so.
I actually do caveat recommendations with because I'm in a situation where I don't pay to go to the movies.
Yeah,
That's why I go so much. You know, if I was paying the $20 that it cost, I obviously wouldn't go as much as I do. So someone will go, "Is that movie any good?" I go, "Yeah, I had a good time." I didn't pay for it though.
Yeah.
Which I think is, if you see it for free, it's pretty good. If you're paying $20 to $25, have a think about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I feel like there's movies as well that they're just on that borderline of like, this might have been a great movie to see in the cinemas, not as good at home. I'm going to totally guess at one that's, I think, out now, which is the Gran Turismo movie, right? Mm-hmm. It might be that the, fast cars roaring along with, surround sound probably is really amplified in a cinema. But it's still at that point of like, is it worth the money to go see a movie that's not that good, but it is slightly better in the cinema?
Yeah.
Or should you just wait to get it home and it's going to be kind of a worse experience, but you haven't spent the money?
Yeah. You've rented it for a couple of dollars off of YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
I watched that movie on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
That is the situation in which you should watch that movie.
Okay.
Because
that's like the worst situation.
But no, what I'm saying is like on a plane, you're so bored and there's so little stimulation. So then when you watch a movie like that, which is like fine, it's completely fine. It's entertaining and it's such a ridiculous movie, Nelson. Like it's one of the more insane movies I've seen in a while because it's so shameless with how much of an ad it is. It won't surprise you to learn that Sony made the movie based around a PlayStation game. In which one of the main plot points, Nelson, is about a Sony Walkman. Like there's an ongoing plot thread in which someone updates someone else's Sony Walkman.
Isn't it also based on a true story though?
Yes.
That's a cool element.
Yeah. It's quite an interesting story.
Right.
But watching it on a plane is exactly where I'm like, well, I'm not bored. Like it's definitely got my attention and stopped me staring at the window and realizing that my legs are like tired and cramped and whatever. That's exactly the kind of movie you want to watch, where it's just like if you had paid $20 to see it, you would have been like, I don't know. But if it's taking your mind off utter boredom and a bad situation, you could do worse.
I'd like that to be one of their, like in their trailers, 5-star review. Got me not thinking about my cramped legs.
What about you? What do you?
But just as a caveat, everyone, Cambo's favorite movie is Science.
Yes.
Okay, so
what are you in the 1% of? By the way, I'm certainly in the 1% of Signs fans.
There aren't even
me and one other guy somewhere.
There aren't even 1% of people that are like, it's okay. I'd put it on if it was around.
I will have you know, Nelson, at the time, generally well reviewed.
Yeah, because people were still rolling sticks down a hill and stuff.
Let's see what its Rotten Tomatoes score is, shall we? You talk about it like it's some terrible movie. It's on 75%. I feel like that's a perfectly respectable score.
Why? People need to re-review this. Watch the movie again, realize that nothing happens at all. And also, they came to a water-filled planet and they're allergic to water.
I've explained this many times.
I know, and it still sucks. It still sucks.
I will point out, though, 75% critical score.
The critics is nothing.
The audience score is 67.
yeah, much more likely. Anywho, what am I in the 1% of? I didn't really think this one through. Science? No, there's a lot of us. There's roughly 34% of us. I don't really know. I guess that perhaps this podcast puts us in probably a 1%, and for volume of episodes anyway, not for obviously quality or listenership, but
or even willingness to produce.
Yeah, willingness to produce. I think that's probably
which is funny because it's just statistics, isn't it? Just because we haven't given up for 300 odd episodes.
Just like if anything more interesting came along. I was actually talking to Josh Porter, who does another podcast. That is the rival podcast to this show. We won't talk about it. But he was like, hey, like we could do a podcast together. I was like, cool. And I was thinking about it, I was like, will that be the undoing? We're just having another one.
Yeah. Let me tell you, as a man with another podcast, yes, it will be the undoing.
Yeah.
I will allow me to have a second podcast, but I will draw the line at you having a second podcast.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so I don't think so. Probably also 1% of huge dicks, Cambo.
Yeah, you are a huge dick.
I am. People have told me that all the time. And I was like, really? You can't even see it. But okay. So yeah, that's what I tell people. All right. I think we should move on though and get into Today I Advise. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Today I Learned. And also sometimes advice. This Today I Learned is by Malek Tiwas. Today I learned that the first political assassination in Roman history took place in 133 BC when Tribune Tiberius Gracchus tried to redistribute land to the poor and was promptly beaten to death with wooden chairs by the Senate.
Yeah, it's just good to know that in the almost, more than 2,000 years since this happened, if anyone were to try the same thing today, they would certainly be whatever the modern equivalent of beaten to death with wooden chairs by the Senate is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Ostracized by, the any sort of politician and stuff would, there would be a big, political, let's say, movement to out this person.
Look, this is not a unique thought. Every stoned 21-year-old has probably had the same thought. But there needs to be some kind of system in which people who are in politics, either there's like a salary cap so they're not becoming super rich, or like to limit or at least have a variety of incomes being represented.
Yeah.
Because it does, like, more often than not, a lot of politicians that are higher up in power that can actually make big change, whether it's by speaking engagement or lobbying or whatever it is, generally have earned a fair amount of money.
Yes.
And number one is protecting that money. Number two is the people.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so depressing. And it's like, I wonder, right, if there was some turning point in history that this event could have changed, where it's like, if he wasn't beaten to death by people of the Senate, whether he actually garnered enough support to be like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And then it set a precedent for like looking after your people and seeing, because I imagine there would just be so many benefits from redistributing wealth to some degree.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the ins and outs.
Yeah, we're not economists.
But I'm certain there would be, benefits as a whole to something like this. And so it'd be interesting if it was done such a long time ago and was perhaps proved successful, then there would be less chance of it not being a thing today. Like, but more chance of it actually being a thing, where we've got.
So what you're saying is that in history, Tiberius Gracchus was some kind of turning point, some kind of sliding doors style situation.
Yeah.
In which there are two roads that we travel down: beaten to death by wooden chairs by the Senate, and not beaten to death by wooden chairs of the Senate. In which society may have flourished.
Yeah, I think that's the.
Unfortunately, we looked at the two roads. One was sunshine and nice paving and whatever, and one was one of those creepy ones you see in cartoons with the black trees like formed over the road and lightning crack above it. And we're like, that's interesting, that one.
Yeah, that one looks cool. Yeah. We'll give that one a go.
Because there was a little side road on that one for rich people that looked fine.
Yeah, that's right. I just love the idea. Like, can you imagine just that scenario where he's like, hey, I think we should redistribute land to the poor. And then for the first Senate member to get up, pick up his chair and just slam it on top of this guy's head.
That's an amazing, an amazing amount of groupthink. To that they all looked at each other and went, should we?
Yeah.
Are we all thinking the same thing here?
I think it's when the first person,
the first
crashed their chair
over his back,
and everybody else was like, "Ooh, should we either condemn this person or?"
He was talking some nonsense
choices.
about giving up my land.
Yeah. I've got a lot of land.
I've got a lot of land and a wooden chair.
And then 5 minutes later, I've got a lot of land.
And a hole to dig.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. But hey, when you don't know another way to solve your problems, beat somebody with a chair. I'll do another quick today I learned. This is by I Think a Lot. 1. Today I learned that in the event that the moon landing failed and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were stranded, NASA planned to end communication with the men, leaving them to either run out of oxygen or commit suicide with no earthly contact.
Yeah, I kind of learnt about this, in a weird place, which is the books of Andy Weir. So here at The Martian, he also wrote a book called Project Hail Mary. Both of them about astronauts. Mm-hmm. And both of them, I think, well respected for being pretty scientifically accurate for the most part about space travel.
Yeah.
And both of those books have elements of, there's kind of a sense that astronauts have a suicide plan.
Yeah.
If everything goes wrong, because you're out in space, you're not coming back, there needs to be a way. And there's even a plot point in Project Hail Mary where every of the main characters on the ship has to nominate their suicide plan. And it kind of goes through all the different options that people go through. One just wants to be kind of gassed so he falls asleep. One's like, I don't want to wait too long. I just want to shoot myself. It's like this really bleak thing being like, you would have to consider that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because it seems like the worst way to die would be to
starve to death.
Yeah. Something like that. Which obviously in this situation, you wouldn't last that long anyway because of the idea of, you'd run out of oxygen.
Yeah.
And in fact, honestly, maybe that's not the worst way to go because if I understand correctly, running out of oxygen is not like, if it's a slow thing, you just
get tired.
You actually get tired and die. So maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. But just to scare, it still, I think, maybe blows my mind about just how really brave these people I think were. Probably more than we've ever understood before, because we had already sent astronauts up to space and then back again. So it was like, okay, it's known that we can do and that part of it. Most of them lived. Not so much the dogs and apes.
No.
But there's sort of like an extra level, right? For these people being like, but you might just be stuck out in the middle of freaking nowhere where no man has traveled before. There is literally no hope of your rescue if you can't.
This is
if something goes wrong.
What I find fascinating is they're saying that if the moon landing failed, which I'm taking is the shuttle that came out and landed on the lunar surface.
Yeah.
So that is Buzz and Neil. We often talk about the fact there was a third person on that mission, and I like to think that they're oft forgot about, right?
Yeah.
So I like to think in the NASA thing, they're like, we've actually come up with a suicide plan for Neil and Buzz. And someone said, what about Michael Collins? And NASA were like, who? Michael Collins, the other guy. Oh, we keep forgetting he's going. Oh, yeah. He can shoot himself or something, I think. Give him a gun. Just give him a gun.
He was probably the most likely to come back, though.
Yeah. But still, it doesn't mean something couldn't have gone wrong for him.
Yeah.
He was at the moon. So if that had malfunctioned, he would just be orbiting the moon.
Yeah. Or maybe NASA would be like, we don't want you to come back and tell your story. So,
do you think? Oh yeah, that's true. Something went wrong. Like, well, there's no point bringing one of them back.
yeah.
The one that no one can remember.
We've looked at the cost-benefit analysis, and it's bleak.
Do you think when they all got back and they got out of the little module, and everyone's like, "Yay, congratulations!" and they all get into the van or whatever to go to the press conference, someone, hey, Neil, come here. Why is Michael Collins here? I thought we made it clear that only 2 of you would come back.
We had a plan. Yeah. He was talking about redistributing land to the poor.
I thought you can have the moon, mate.
Yeah. Have all the land you want. Yeah.
Anyway, we should say we do respect Michael Collins. He's a very brave man for going up to the moon.
He's all right, I suppose. All right, Campbell, let's move on into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought was originally by Mr. the Smile Person, but cross-posted to us by Gone Fish Caking. Almost no one has a problem asking about a dog's pronouns.
Well, it's funny that I would say that most people default dogs to be male and cats to be female, which I find myself doing as well. Like, sometimes people will assume, dog male, cat female.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that my cat, a male, is called Megs.
Yeah.
It does not help at all. But do you find that, I think people not asking about pronouns, not so much, but defaulting on pronouns, people definitely have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think defaulting on pronouns happens a lot for animals. I always I think either cat or dog, I just always say he.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know.
Yeah. I do. The first question I normally ask a dog owner specifically, I guess, is a girl or a boy, mainly just because I used to work with guide dogs.
Yeah.
And there was like, they're so indistinguishable to look at. But like, you did have to do something slightly different. So even the trainers, that would be the first thing. They're like, oh, boy or girl? Oh, hello. Like.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of picked that up from being around that a lot. And that's generally the first question I ask. But even in my head, if I see a dog in the back of a truck or something, I'm like, good boy.
Yeah. Which you've assumed that it's male and good at the same time.
Well, so. I'm pretty sure it's pretty good, Nelson. It's sitting in the back of a truck.
I often think, a bad boy whenever I see
Nelson, that's actually one of the most offensive things you've ever said.
Yeah. I mean, really, though, when we talk about the pronoun things for animals, it's obviously not the same as humans, where it's like gender. We're actually saying, what gender does your dog have?
Yes.
And
it's more scientific, I would say.
Yeah, that's right. I just assume every dog has a penis.
Here's the thing. I don't know. And I do ask the gender of a dog, right? I'll go, boy or girl? And they'll go, girl. And I'll go, cool. I've got nothing to do with that.
It changes nothing with my interaction with this dog. I'm still going to pat it. Yeah, exactly.
Still going to scratch it under the chin.
Yeah. I guess when it rolls over, I won't be surprised.
Yes, exactly.
All right, here's another one. This is by Sensitive Oven 137. Men don't realize how much they pee on themselves until they use a urinal wearing flip-flops.
Also, I would say it makes you respect good urinal design.
I was going to bring this up. Yes. It's not about the, like, all urinals.
Yeah.
It's that if one is poorly designed, they're like, so there's like a few problems. I feel like one that they're like flat against the wall is not great.
Yeah. The wall urinal.
Yeah.
Not great.
Not great. But there's ones that are bowl-like.
Yep.
Those are the best urinals.
Yes. But
I think.
Can I say?
Yeah.
There's a hierarchy in those. I would say we're fairly lucky here. Bowls are at a good height.
Yeah. Crutch height. Maybe
height.
a little bit lower.
A little bit lower. A little bit
lower.
For those well endowed. But I will say, in Japan, too low.
Oh, way too low.
Because here's the thing: further to fall.
Yes.
Further to fall, bigger splash.
Bigger splash. Yes. There was a couple of times where I was like wearing shorts, and I was like, "Oh, if I'm peeing in the wrong spot, then I'm getting a little bit of splash back."
Nelson, I learned to pee on an angle.
Yeah. It's not good. And for the crazy thing is that Japanese, well advanced with their toilets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Japanese toilets, no joke.
A lot of buttons. You can press a button to open the lid. There's like self-flushing. There's little lights, little
heated
sprays
seats.
Things, heated seats. They know how to poop.
Yep.
They know how to poop.
They've got options for wipe, bidet, and spray. Yeah.
But when it comes to peeing on a wall, on an object, I don't know. Too low. Not that good. But I think it does. Maybe when you're younger, you get a bit more surprised. So you're like, oh, I've never peed with flip flops on before, and turns out I've been peeing at the wrong angle, and I've been getting a lot of urine on my feet. I reckon this would probably surprise women more than it would surprise men.
Yeah,
I'm assuming most women don't know that after a man comes back from peeing in a bad urinal,
they've probably got pee on their shoes.
They've got urine on their shoes or feet.
Yeah, and also like probably urine on the sole of their feet, because I think a lot of pee gets on the floor around the urine.
Because so many guys don't know how to pee in it. That like blows my mind, because I really like struggle. Maybe since I've been an adult, I reckon I could count on one hand the amount of times I've maybe peed on the floor accidentally while trying to pee at a urinal.
It's not because you're looking at your phone or something.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Because I've accidentally, my eyes have wandered. I'm looking at the guy's penis next to me, and then he's looked back over, and I'm like, oh! And that's when it happened.
You're both looking at each other's penises peeing on the floor.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy's just peeing on the floor willy-nilly.
Nelson, your door is just open like a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm terrified. It's my cat. Here's how far into this episode?
We've gone 43 minutes now, so I think we can
all right, let's get into Podnapping.
Oh my god, I'm being podnapped!
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another thing, and we do it ourselves.
It's my week this week, Nelson. Oh my god. Here's the thing. Last week I was all bravado, wasn't I? Saying the consequences of my actions won't catch up with me for many weeks. And then last night, Nelson, I was out for dinner for my birthday, and I went, oh my god. What have I done, Nelson? What have I done? So I've had to come up with the Podnapping, racking my brain. And do you know what was on my brain?
Japan.
Japan was on my brain. So
I thought, Japan, as the locals say. Not many people know that, but it's
exactly.
Japan.
They all laugh at us when we say Japan. What was on my mind is that we all discussed that before we left, we were like, let's give Japanese a crack. Let's go on Duolingo, as everyone wants to do. And I reckon I've got 4 weeks. I reckon I'll pretty much nail it.
Yeah.
And everyone gets to about module 2. And then they go, I hate these alerts so much.
I want to bring up the issue that I've already told you that I had, which was I want just the basics of like, please, thank you.
Yeah.
Where's the bathroom? Or even that you kind of don't really need. But like,
you
just super basic stuff.
Understand.
And like after the first one, which was, a few basic words, then it's like, hey, here's the word for lawyer. Like, why do I need to know the word for lawyer?
Well, They say that the best way to actually learn a language is to surround yourself in it.
Yep.
So what I thought, I have a couple of phrases here that I'm going to play you in Japanese.
Oh, okay.
That you should be aware of.
Yeah.
Based on our trip.
Yeah.
And I want to see how much has gone into your mind since you've immersed yourself in the Japanese language.
Okay.
It'll start easy and it will get a little bit harder as it goes. Now, just to be clear, I've just connected my phone to the board and I'm just using the Google Translate app.
Okay.
So you'll have to forgive any kind of it's not the best app in the world, but it'll get you mostly there. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So this is the first word. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Gonna make sure it's turned up.
水
Oh, hang on one sec.
水
Mate. Mizu.
Yeah.
I had a lot of mizu.
You did. You were saying this word a lot.
Yeah. Water.
That is
what
water.
mizu
Yes,
means.
water. Okay.
I'm going to tell people of this really funny exchange that we had. We got out of a restaurant one day, and there was a group of guys, a bit younger, I'd say like early 20s kind of thing, and they identified us as English-speaking people. And the guy said, "Oh, hello," and "Thank you," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, he's just using like the limited amount of English that he is." So I said, "Mizu," and they all paused for a second because they were like, "Why did this guy just shout water at us?" And then I think they were like, "Oh, he's doing the same thing," and they were like, "Yeah, Mizu."
All right. What about this one, Nelson?
ありがと
I'll play it again for you. For some reason, Google Translate, when you first play it, plays about half the word for you.
Yeah,
so I'll play it.
う。ありがと
Arigato. That is thanks.
Yes, thanks, thank you, yes. There's not as direct a translation as thanks, thank you so much.
Yeah,
the different phrases, because there's arigato gozaimasu and domi arigato gozaimasu.
Yeah,
which we learned from a Canadian man of the differences to all three of those.
Yes.
But there's no way, because arigato gozaimasu is the polite version of thank you, but it doesn't actually necessarily mean more words. It just is.
Yeah.
And there's no way to tell Google Translate. I actually want the politer version of this. That you're
Right.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could not get it to say arigato gozaimasu.
Right.
Here's a newer one, but you probably maybe heard this at some point on your trip.
Okay.
う。ゴジラホテル。
I'm going to play it again. Ready?
ゴジラホテル。
Godzilla.
ゴジラホテル。
Is that Godzilla Hotel?
Godzilla Hotel. Well done. Yes.
Yes.
We stayed in a hotel that had a giant Godzilla. At the hotel.
Yeah.
Affectionately known as the proper name, but everyone calls it the Godzilla Hotel.
Yes, that's right.
And you think
he kept us safe at night. Let us tell you.
Yeah. Can I also tell you, we booked this place being like, this is one hilarious.
Yeah.
We've booked the hotel that has a giant Godzilla outside. And one of the appeals of it is that there's a cafe out on the deck, and you can go out and there's a huge Godzilla head hanging over the deck, and you get photos and stuff like that. Wonderful. And as we entered the hotel, there's a sign outside that's saying Godzilla head is closed.
Yeah.
Until further notice.
We could see it from a distance.
We could see it from a distance. But when you do
really
walk in the
upsetting.
hotel, there's more than one Godzilla in that hotel. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They're very much lent into that.
Yeah.
Here's
and a lot of Godzilla merch.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole merch stand of Godzilla.
What I loved is that, like, I think maybe twice for the 5 days we were there, I saw them restocking the Godzilla merch shelves. Like, a lot of people go through that Godzilla merch.
Oh, yeah. All right, here's a single word. This one, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's not playing, Nelson. Stop playing. Hang on. Oh, it's all broken, Nelson.
Oh no.
This is the folly of trying to do this live instead of like pre-planning it. Let me try.
Yeah. It wouldn't be us though, would it?
電車。
There we go. Ready?
Okay.
電車。
Oh.
Densha. Can I say we used
電車。
many times in Japan?
Oh, did we really?
We did.
Densha. I don't think I used this one. Did I?
You certainly used densha. I don't know if you ever said the word densha, but
Oh, is it like toilet or something?
it's train, Nelson.
Oh, train.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever. Yeah, I don't remember hearing
Yeah,
that.
you just shouted train really loud in English.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
"Very-"
started at a normal volume.
Yeah.
They weren't getting it.
Here's another one, just a single word for you. What's this word?
弁護士弁護士
Bengoshi.
Oh, Ben. Oh, Ben. Gosh.
弁護士
Oof.
Now, this is a word that you did come across.
Ben Gushy. Or Ben Gushy, as I say in
Bengoshi.
Australia. Oh, no. I don't know. I don't think I know this one either. I don't remember.
Nelson, you obviously haven't learned. That's the word for lawyer.
Well,
The very word you
I
lamented
never
having to
needed one,
learn.
Gamber. I never needed one.
You lamented needing to learn the word for lawyer, and it hasn't worked, clearly.
Oh my god, I would have been in so much strife had I needed one.
Okay, this one is a phrase, okay?
Okay.
So it's a little bit longer, but I'm hoping there are key words that will help you work out this phrase. Are you ready?
Yeah.
ご飯を水で炊きます
I'm going to play it again. Ready?
ご飯を水で炊きます
This is like, this is like, rice and water.
It involves rice and water.
Rice and water.
ご飯を水で炊きます
Takimas. I mean, takimas isn't please. So,
This is more of an action, I'll tell you that.
I want to eat rice and water. I don't know.
It's actually cook rice in water.
Cook rice in water. Oh,
Yes.
God. Okay.
Thank you very much, Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. I'm curious. I don't know whether you heard this or not. This is a slightly longer phrase, so I want to know
Okay.
if you heard this.
これらの白人は吸盤のように見える
I'm going to play it again. Ready?
Whoa.
これらの白人は吸盤のように見える
Now, did you hear anyone say this phrase?
No.
Hakujin is the first part. Wikyuban no yonomi. See, I can't pronounce
これらの白人は吸盤のように見える
This doesn't sound familiar to you?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
No, that's good because that was actually these white people look like suckers.
Oh,
The
lucky.
fact that we didn't hear that is actually a good sign.
I didn't hear that once.
Yeah. Okay, there's just two more. Again, this one is a phrase. We certainly said it in English, and I want to know whether or not maybe you heard it in Japanese as well.
ホットドッグが先
I'm going to play it again. Ready?
ホットドッグが先
It sounds like at the end it says sake.
Gasaki.
Disaki. One word?
ホットドッグが先
Hotodogu gasaki. Gasaki,
Oh.
2 words.
Okay. Is it hot dogs ahead?
It is hot dogs ahead.
Because
phrase-
sometimes hot dogs are ahead.
Yeah, it's a phrase that we used many times in Japan.
Yeah.
The phrase hot dogs ahead.
Hot
Does
dogs
not come
ahead.
from Japan. It comes from a sign near my house.
Cambo, let me tell you this, listeners. Cambo constantly says hot dogs ahead.
It became a catch cry for excitement, I think. Yes, I don't think we've told the story, but just for context, there is a sign near my house, just on a random road. It's like a road that connects 2 main roads, really. And on a weekend, sometimes there'll just be a homemade sign nailed to a tree that says hot dogs ahead. And then in a couple 100 meters, there'll be a van selling hot dogs. And every time I see it, I'm always like, great, hot dogs ahead. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
hot dogs ahead.
as an alert.
Yeah.
Guys, there are hot dogs ahead. So it became a joke between Stacey and I that I would message her and be like, there's hot dogs ahead, Stacey. And then it became a catch cry of excitement Until yesterday for my birthday, Stacey got me a T-shirt with the embroidered words "hot dogs ahead."
Oh, she didn't do the Japanese version. Oh, what? Come on.
Yes, Gusaki is what we would normally say.
What we would normally yell out.
Yeah. Okay. There's one more phrase.
Okay.
What does this mean?
後で読んでね。
I'll play it again.
後で読んでね。
After they yondene.
I hate podnapping.
Oh, you're close. It means read you later.
Read you later. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good one.
So
we
now
could,
you need to
we
remember
could,
this phrase,
we could broaden
Nelson.
our audience.
Remember this phrase.
後で読んでね。
Okay.
後で読んでね。
After they yondene.
Atadeyondene.
And now you know how to end the show.
Oh, I'll remember that
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a few
I would like to
seconds.
think so.
Wait, I've got some for you, Cambo.
Yep.
First one, kudasai.
Please.
Please, good job. And ego wakarimasu.
Ego, what was it? Sorry.
Ego wakarimasu.
I don't remember that one. Is that like sorry?
No.
There was a phrase for sorry that I could never remember.
Sorry.
But there's no real like, oh, sorry. But there was a phrase if you bump into someone, you
Oh, yeah.
I could never remember what it was.
It was sumimasen.
Yes, I would always memorize it, and then I'd bump into someone and be like, no, it's gone.
Sorry.
Suz, I would say.
You don't know ego wakarimasu? You idiot. I used it frequently.
It sounds familiar. Like I remember the phrase, but I don't remember what it means.
Do you understand English?
Very good.
I was like, please. And more often than not, it was a little bit.
Yeah. There was like the hand waving, like,
I like how they would say, yeah, a little bit. And then I'm like, oh, great. So they know water and rice.
Yeah.
But then they were able to have like a full conversation with me. Like, oh boy. If I said I knew a little bit of Japanese.
I mean a little bit of Japanese.
Anyway, cool. All right, that was Podnapping. Now it's time for the Ask Me Anything, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want.
Just like CN says, hello, recently I went to Disneyland Paris. I brought back lots of things with me, including...
Oh, bed bugs? Did you bring back bed bugs?
Well, what they did bring back is COVID, including COVID. I haven't had it in over a year, yet here I am, like a fool. It's been so long since I've had to isolate, I forgot what fun things there are to do around the house. Invent something fun for me to do. Thanks, CN. Invent something I would say, and this will become apparent, because of my great love for it, Nelson, is that they should get a lot of Lego.
Oh.
Because several weeks ago, I brought myself, for the first time in 20 years, a small Lego set.
Yeah.
And and Stacey saw it and said, no.
Yeah.
Why did you buy that? And I said, I don't know, something. I have this vision of putting on a movie and making this small Lego set and then putting it on my desk.
Yeah.
And just having it sit there. And she said, don't get really into Lego. And I said, I actually have no inclination to buy more Lego. This one appealed to me for some reason. And she's like, seriously, I don't want Lego all over. I said, I'm not getting into Lego. And then the next time she saw you, Nelson, she said, Cambo's got real into Lego.
He's so into Lego.
I said, I haven't got into Lego. And she's like, he's hiding it, but he's really into Lego. She's told many people, like, Cambo's into Lego now.
Cambo, I haven't bought a Lego set, so you're pretty into Lego.
I want to make it clear. I've not made this Lego set yet. It's still just sitting on my desk unmade.
It's definitely one of those things that you're like, yeah, I'll do that. It's like buying a puzzle, even just a regular puzzle. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to do this one day when I'm bored. And it sits with the shrink wrap still around in your cupboard somewhere because you're like, no, I don't. Nobody wants to do
There were several points when we were in like a shopping mall or something in Japan and there'd be a Lego store. And she'd be like, do you want to go?
Want to get something?
No, I don't. I'm not into Lego.
Because also the instructions would be in Japanese.
Exactly.
It's the worst
Unless
place
it's
to
some kind
get
of-
Lego.
This is some kind of Japanese exclusive set, in which obviously I need it for my collection.
Yeah. Here's what I think you should do. Get Lego, but don't build a set. You should play a little game, okay? The game is, this is if you used to live with your family. Who can I get to step on the most Lego? And
The answer is always Dad, by the way.
It does seem like a dad thing, but you know what? We need somebody to do the research.
Yeah, that's true. That's anecdotal. We don't do that here. We want hard data.
Yeah. Leave them in people's shoes by the doorway if they take their shoes off before they come in. Just outside the bathroom door. That's just a couple of ideas of where you can lay your Lego out. Maybe just fill one room with heaps of Lego. Like maybe just like from the fridge door to like everybody's bedroom is just a cavalcade of Lego.
Pieces.
I think that could be a really kind of fun game.
Yeah.
It's educational. We'll know who steps on the most Lego, but also it's kind of fun to watch other people do it.
There you go. Trap your family in some kind of Lego hellscape.
Yeah.
That would be our recommendation of something fun to do around the house.
Yeah, and masturbate. Those
And
two
masturbate,
things.
obviously.
Thank you, Cian, for writing in. If you'd like to write into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast at gmail.com. You can reach us there and our Discord. And our subreddit. Damn it.
Almost had it. You were so close.
I was like, I haven't just sat down and thought about how I should end the show. But
you didn't make the regular mistakes, which is mentioning things that we are no longer active on.
Yes.
But now, because you were like, I need to streamline it, you streamlined it too much. Shaved away too much.
Yeah.
Next week we'll get there.
Next week we'll get there probably. But that's it. Rate the show and stuff and tell your friends or something. Or don't. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
And what's the phrase, Nelson?
Tedoto keroi opatawa.
後で読んでね。
That was pretty close.
At the day on the net.
At the day on the net.